Bi-Directional Broom Mount installation to tractor. Come underneath the tractor and make sure that the mount bushings are in the second hole from the bottom. This would also be a good time to take a couple dabs of grease and apply to the tractor power shaft. It'll make for an easier slide connection to the QD disconnect from the implement. On the mount for the bi-directional broom, the mount support arms, again, will have multiple holes. For shipping purposes, that will be mounted in the bottom hole. Go ahead and move up to the second hole from the bottom. Also making sure that the mounts, before you slide the mount underneath the tractor, that you swing those both in on both sides. Universal half sleeve, go ahead and slide it on as well. Also be a good time to give this greaser 2 or 3 shots of grease as well. The harness for the joystick control, go ahead and just have it laying here on top of the broom mount. And the D-rings, make sure they're swung in and rotated up to hold it in place. At that point, we'll be able to slide the mount into the tractor. Also on the harness, again, for shipping purposes, the harness will be wire tied right here. Go ahead and remove that wire tie, and that allows some more flexibility of the harness as it goes up underneath the tractor. As you have it underneath the tractor, go ahead and run the harness up through the cab temporarily off to the side. Lower the footrest. This will allow you to get underneath the seat. Where you can plug into the universal joystick control box. We can now lower the seat down and flip the footrest up. This will help gain access, easier access to installing the hooks down over the bushings, and also the D-rings underneath the bushings. You go ahead and you will turn on the key switch, and you're going to power the broom head down, which is going to force the hooks of the broom mount over to the on top of the bushings. Okay. After you got the hooks over the bushings, now you can come over and engage the D-rings underneath, as such there. And you can now swing your broom mount supports over the square tubing. Hitch pins will go through on both sides. These are the hitch pins. Go through the holes. until you get them locked in place. After the mounts are secure, it's a good time to go ahead, take the jack stand. Okay, jack stand mount. And it will swing up and lock in place there. There will be a hair clip which you put in here, but again, that action is to release it, kind of push to the side, and it swings down and locks. If you want to raise it up, go ahead and push it to the side, and it'll swing in place and lock. Installation of the quick disconnect universal half sleeve onto the tractor power shaft. Final adjustments of the bi-directional broom onto a 900D 1.3 liter. A few fine tunings and tweakings. One is on the adjustable rod assembly. You have two heim joints and a threaded rod with left and right hand threads onto the rod. 5 7/8 from center of this heim joint to the center of this heim joint was 5 7/8. Also, the lift linkage mount, top side of it, measuring up from the top side of it to the top of the tower, was 4.5 inches. With these two adjustments, here and here, allowed us on the front gauge wheels, you have a series of different spacers. What we ended up doing was going with one small one at the top. That allowed the broom head, as it came down, as the brushes hit the ground, but not yet buckle and put too much down pressure onto the brush head before the bottom of the gauge wheels finally made contact with the surface. What you want to be cautious here is that if you have too much down pressure, you can wear through the brush set fairly quickly, and also depending on what type of pavement that you're trying to brush off as well. Removal of the bi-directional broom from the tractor. We will first lower the broom head all the way down to where the front gauge wheels make full contact, power through so it's all the way down, solid against the ground. If the unit is equipped with the winter enclosure, we'll remove the floor mat. This will allow access underneath as you put the footrest up to where you can come underneath and release the universal half shaft and sleeve assembly. Lay it off to the side. At that point, we'll lower the jack stand. There's the key. Remove. Jack stand slides under. Put your key back in place. Here we will then release the the D-rings. As such. At this point, I can now lower the weight of the broom down onto the broom stand. Once the weight hits the broom stand rollers, what will happen is you continue down the hooks. Touch there. Now you can see the separation of the hooks from the bushings on both sides, there and there. After the separation has occurred, we now will be able to slide the mount and the broom mount away from the tractor. You will have to get into the cab and release the 4-pin connector from the joystick control box. Harness then will come down through, rest on the mount. Now you're able to slide away from the tractor.